Leana, we're celebrating 25 years of National Netball League history in Aotearoa, but before we get into any of that, which you have been such a big part of, we want to talk about this comeback that we never knew we needed. It was so awesome to see you come back in the black dress with the Magic over the weekend. How was it running out for the Magic again?
Oh my gosh, I was so nervous, especially Sunday morning, and I was driving down to Hamilton and thinking, what are you doing, Leana? But luckily it's quite funny. Caleb is obviously my son, and we jammed some music and he goes, Mum, you can't be too nervous because then you'll waste all your energy. So it was great having a pep talk from your 12-year-old son, but he was great for my nerves because, gosh, yeah, I was actually really nervous.
So funny that you were nervous. You'd almost think you'd be quite calm. You're like, been here, done it before. I don't know. It was at 100 and something matches you've played for the Magic or something. But how hard was it to twist your arm? Was it the phone call and you're like, yeah, I think I can do this? Or did you go, I need 48 hours?
Oh, no, look, I did say I would come to a training first to see how, like I was really nervous that I'd be way too slow for the game. And I just said, I've got to feel what the body does and timing. Defense is all about timing, and, haven't touched the ball for 2.5 years, and timing is such a crucial part for a defender. So I said to MJ, let's just see how I go at training. And obviously once you're there, back in the environment, and I just had so much fun that I thought, you know what, I can only do what I can do, and if I can only give 6 or 7 minutes or 2 quarters, that's what I can give. But turned out that I could give a little bit more, which was awesome.
Clearly, I think we were all, we weren't surprised, actually, really pleased to see how physically fit you were. But how was it getting mentally into the game? Because, netball's, it's a head game, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that just comes naturally to you is because you've been there, you love it. Netball's a bit all like running lines, and I suppose for me it was just getting in the way of everybody where they want to run, because the chances that I was going to go for intercepts probably not as high because of the timing, but I could get in the way and make them really think about changing the running angles, and I felt just mentally that's what I could bring. Don't overthink things, actually just go out there and have fun, and I had lots of fun.
Had you been watching the Magic performances leading up to that point before being thrown into the deep end and kind of visualising how you could contribute to the defence end of the Magic?
No, not at all. I haven't, I'll be honest, I haven't actually been watching religiously, the quarter here and there, and then just looking at the highlights and seeing the scores. But obviously with Oceana, I've had that connection with her at the Stars, and, when they're so eager to learn and they just soak it up, it's actually really easy just having those conversations. And Oceana, actually, we didn't actually train together because she was out on the afternoon with a shoulder. So the first time that we hit the court was in the game, but just kind of comes back to you, and communication's such key, obviously, in the game. And yeah, we just slotted in really nicely.
Now, MJ did make the comment that she'll be doing everything she can to maybe sign you for at least another week. Did she manage to convince you, and will you be turning up again in round 5?
Yeah, look, I'm again probably in the same situation. I'm going to go to training on Thursday and just see how I go. But to be honest, Adine, I loved it. It was so much fun out there. There's no pressure on me. I'm there to help out, and these awful times with COVID and everybody is struggling, and we're so lucky to play in this country, and it would be lovely to have some more crowd, but just the fact that we can play is absolutely amazing. So yeah, if I feel good Thursday and NJ goes, look, I really want you, then yeah, I'll probably say yes again.
Now, I think the Magic's got a couple of games this weekend. One of them is against the Stars. Have you had a call from Kiri Wills at all saying, oi, what are you doing?
No, she hasn't actually. I think they pretty sorted and what they wanted. So I'm sure if she needed me, she would have given me a call earlier on. But hey, I just this opportunity came up, and you just got to decide what you want to do, and obviously taking the opportunity with the Magic.
Look, Leana, in regards to the 25 years of national netball that, Netball New Zealand is celebrating this year, you've been a huge part of it, as I already mentioned, and it feels kind of weird to talk to you about the past when we've just seen you take the court again. You're still part of it, really. But you played for so many franchises over the years, and which of those teams that you played for, which franchise perhaps really stood out for you?
Gosh, that's a really hard question, because every franchise I played for had something, a part to play where I was in my probably life and in my career, because Steel came in when I had Caleb. They gave me the opportunity to go down there and probably when he was a baby, that worked really well, and they looked after me, and the return to play was really good. Obviously, Mystics was a no-brainer following Yvonne Willering after the Force days. And then obviously with Magic, I've been there for a long time. Waikato, I'm a Waikato girl, just fit in there really nicely, and had some really great success with obviously winning the championship. So I think it's a really hard question to answer, because every franchise meant something in my journey.
I was fortunate to play with you down in the deep south. I still remember you when you first arrived from South Africa. Very, very fresh off the boat. Yes, you brought many a giggle along. But look, when you think back, and I think you literally cover almost the whole 25 years, can you pick out a game or a moment of the national leagues that you played in, which I think was all of them, that really stands out? Was it those winning moments?
Obviously winning moments are friggin' amazing, because that feeling you just can't describe, especially 2012 when we won the Trans-Tasman. You can't look past that one, because we were literally 4 games down, and nobody gave us any hope to be there. But I actually do remember the Steel days. I was so shy. I just didn't even say beep. I couldn't even speak English. But just to be part of all the big names, I do remember having to play with Bernice Meany, and I went, what? Like, how am I even in the same room as these people? So that's definitely has just grown me so much as a person, and being part of the Kiwi culture, which definitely come a long way.
You certainly have, and I was thinking, that thing you mentioned about not being even able to speak English. How did you go about learning? Was it simply by absorption?
Yeah, when you hear it every day, and you don't really have Afrikaans people to talk to, and Mum and Dad, I still talk to them every Sunday night. And that's the only time I really get to speak it. Obviously, there's more South Africans now, but it was more a fact of just sitting back and learning as much as I can, and try not to make a fool of myself with wrong sentences, although that still happens. But it's just a matter of being part of it. And the girls were great. Very welcoming, and make me feel quite that I belong here.
You mentioned Bernice Meany as one of those players in the room that you couldn't believe you were around. I'm guessing your return to Magic, there's a few players thinking that about you in the ANZ Premiership now. But, of all the partners that you had in defence, what partner or combination really stood out to you the most over the years?
Look, I think especially with Force, I obviously had Leanas de Bruin and Cheryl Scanlon and Temi Para. I thought the 4 of us, we had a special bond, because we could just be as mean as what we wanted to be with each other, and it stayed on the court. And even Bubby texted me the other night and said, "Good on you, girl." And it was just lifelong friends that you make during these times. And obviously you can't go past Casey and myself. The combination that we've formed over the years, I thought was pretty special as well. And the same thing, we could be so harsh to each other on the court just because that's what we demanded from each other. But when you go off court, nothing kind of got in the way of the friendship.
You talk about a site visit. Obviously, you've stepped away from netball and making just a brief appearance back right now. But, all those things you've learned over the years by being involved in our sport, how has it set you up for what you're doing now?
Oh, look, honestly, I was actually blown away by the things that that I've learned from netball and what I'm doing now. It's probably managing people, and as a captain, you kind of do that day in, day out, and without even realizing, you come to these meetings, your decision making. I never thought I could be so quick at making decisions and crucial ones as well. But when you think about it, we only have 3 seconds on the court to do that. So we kind of quite conditioned to make quick decisions and stick by it, and actually just have the trust in your ability and trust your gut. Like, that's probably the biggest things that I can bring to the job. And obviously people, I'm a big people's person, and those relationships that you create during your playing, there's so many different personalities in a team that you got to kind of, as a team, you got to get together. Pretty much the same in the workspace. If your team's not coping well, or get to know your players or the people that you work for, it's just so similar. It's crazy.
Leana, you've talked a lot about South Africa, and I understand not too many sleeps, and you'll be heading back there. That must be so exciting.
Oh gosh, I am super excited. I'm actually counting the sleeps. I think Caleb wouldn't even have a clue how many sleeps are left, but I certainly do. But yeah, super excited. I haven't seen, especially my oldest brother, for 7 years. That's a long time, and mum and dad for 4 years. And Adine, you know this. Mum was always at netball helping me out, especially with Caleb. I used to see her twice a year for 3 months, and this is the longest I've ever been without her. So I'm just pumped to see her. I can't wait to hug her.
Well, Leana, hopefully we see you back on court, but above all else, can't wait to see you having a good time with your family later on down the track. And thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.